Welcome to The Queen Has Spoken. I'm so thrilled to have you here today with us. I have, ladies first, to my right, the fabulous LaDonna Marie of LaDonna Marie Books and LaDonna Marie Poetry. To my left, I have the one and only Mr. Dennis Nickens, our relationship coach and expert for today. And of course, you guys know me, Felicia Mack, the queen of content. So I want to welcome you, first of all, to my talk show. A lot of you have heard me talking about this for a while now, and so this is my first episode. So welcome, welcome, welcome. And I'm just so happy that you guys could come on today. Super excited about that. So let's jump right into it. I mean, today we're talking about something that is absolutely juicy as I sip my tea. We are talking about relationships, right? Which is obviously your expertise. So, you know, we're going to kick it off. Let me just start by saying one of the reasons why I wanted to do this topic is because I'm a life coach, right? I do content development, but I get a lot of questions. Right. A lot, you know? So I want to really hold this space for anyone who is struggling with any type of relationship issues today. And we're going to kick it off. I'm kind of going to moderate, but I'm going to, you know, look for you to kind of take the lead as far as, I know, you know, you work with a lot of clients, so take the lead as far as what topics and what questions they're really asking you. But I know one of the biggest questions is, you know, how do you get back in the game? You know, if you've been out of, you know, dating, out of the dating scene for a while, how do you really get back in the game? So what are your thoughts about that?
Wow.
Well, ladies first.
Thank you so much for the question. How do you get back in the game? I think, first of all, being a person, I do believe in relationships, but I think that the person should also know themselves first. Take a little time before jumping into the next relationship to kind of love on themselves. Allow things to heal. Some things that may, you know, kind of reflect. I love to reflect and look at what actually did go on in a relationship, what you contributed, what was, you know, what the actual feel of it was, and then, you know, kind of pull back first. But then as you heal and as you move forward and as you become more aware of what actually needs to be worked on within yourself, and then putting two people together in a relationship, then I think you'll take the steps to kind of move forward to get back into a relationship. That's
a really good point. And I know, obviously, Miss International author here and poet, you talk about a lot of relationships in your books too. So, you know, that really speaks volumes, because how can you really relate to other people if you don't even know yourself?
That's right. That's big. Thank you so much. Being in my books and stuff, relationships are a big part, because you have relationships with, you know, people in your family. You have relationships with your, you know, spouse or boyfriends, and so I love to talk about those to grow you. You know, to grow you, to know where you are and to know where you want to go. And so relationships, getting that growth and awareness is what I talk about in most of my poetry, is to help you move forward positively. So
I love that. I love that. Any thoughts, Dennis?
Well, my perspective on relationship is, understand, I truly believe that everyone is created as a vessel. And when I say a vessel, I mean you being the individual. A lot of times we take people on the outside and put it in our inner space. But sometimes your space is crowded and they cannot fit. So if they're crowded, how can you expect to go into a relationship? There's no space for them. So you have to do what I call is clean out your closet. The thing that should belong, you need to get rid of it. The thing that should belong, you should keep it because it's valuable to you. So self-purpose is very important in any relationship. A lot of times, a relationship that goes wrong is because of people forget their purpose. The purpose of you being in a healthy relationship, not unhealthy, but healthy relationship, is to ensure that value is equated. You can't see that?
That's really great. That's really great. And you know, I want to stop there because you said something that's key. Is how do you know that you're in a healthy relationship, right? Like, my definition of healthy could be screaming and throwing things or whatever, right? So I think a lot of people, they're confused about what a healthy relationship is, right? Nothing is perfect. I mean, we're all, you know, human or whatever. But what's your definition of a healthy relationship?
Well, my definition of a healthy relationship is that we have to understand you cannot stand from the position of selfishness. That means I focus so much on myself to where I don't know how to even be with no one else. Yes,
wow.
you need to develop yourself, but I should not have a selfish mindset like a child.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of kids in a lot of my relationships that I talk about is from a biblical perspective. And so, and as God talks about, you know, going from a child to a, you know, going from a child to an adult.
Yeah.
So what the Bible is talking about, that's your mindset.
Right.
So you really have to have the mindset to where I'm spiritually developed to evolve into another relationship. So if I'm not there, how can I expect to enhance your life and your relationship? I need to be prepared to where what I call bring something to the table. Because I know when I'm at, not everybody can sit at my table because I'm valuable. People like value, so they don't understand what value is. So I don't allow anyone to sit at my table.
Yeah, because you know the reality is what you bring to the table determines who shows up at your table, right? Absolutely, it does. And so that's why it goes back to what both of your points is. Personal development is key. It's everything. You know, you have to know who you are and what you stand for, because if not, you allow any old thing to come into your life, you know, and treat you any kind of way. So I think you're right. Establishing that value and really working on yourself before you even invite someone into your life. So I know we got some comments from social media and some questions that I want to take as well, because I know this is a short session because it is our first. But what do you say to the individual out there who, let's say they are newly married or been married for a year or two, right? And they were so career driven, and now maybe they have a child, you know, and they have a lot of different things, and they really feel like they're losing themselves. What are some tips that you would say, and you can speak to this, right?
I can. Oh my goodness. I was talking to someone the other day, and I was telling her I was a first-time wife, had my first child, and we moved to a different state. And I commend all stay-at-home moms.
Yeah.
I love it. I was with my son about 6 months. He was 6 months old, and then a light bulb went off and said, you are a working professional. You know, I love embracing this family time, but I had to get back into, you know, I wanted to take steps to get a job. So what I did is I actually found him. I went and researched some daycares, kind of looked around, and then found him an appropriate one to put him in. And then I started to build on who I am. Because I could have easily fell into the loop and said, oh, I'm going to be a stay-at-home mom. I'm going to, you know, just be a wife. And I could have lost self, but I know I was born to be independent. And I wanted to keep that part of me. And I know I can speak for many, you know, military wives. Some of them, they have their lives separately, and some of them love to take care of their kids. So I wanted my identity to still be who I was, and not to be defined that even though I am married and I can do this, but this is not what is going to work for me. So I researched, and a couple months later I found my first job. And so it was a step for me, because it would have been putting me, I would have felt uncomfortable staying at home when I really wanted to work. And I really wanted to keep my independence as far as what I know I wanted out of life.
That's good. I know you spoke to someone out there with that. And so I want to move to our next topic, which is divorce. The elephant in the room is divorce, right? I mean, let's talk about it. You know, gosh, what do you think, or if you could give 2 juicy tips for the individual who may just be, you know, on the brink of divorce, right? Or they may be a year or two out of having their divorce finalized, or they may see an impending divorce in their future. What are some key tips to not date again, but to really move past that level of hurt and all the other array of feelings that go along with experiencing divorce?
Dennis,
that's juicy. That's juicy. This is a juicy question.
Dennis, you can take that one.
I have no problem with addressing that question. Well, to me, like I even said at the beginning, in a divorce, that anyone that heads in the direction of divorce, they're looking at it from a selfish perspective. They only think about themselves. And because the reason why I say that, because in the Word of God, God never ordains the divorce. And people are, well, it is. Talking about Moses, no, that's under grace. God has graced us to where someone is abusing you, treating you as, you know, you're not valuable. And in a relationship, someone should always view their wife as a queen. Because if I'm looking at you from a godly perspective, I will never abuse you, I will never mistreat you, but I will always lead the family as the example. So I will always treat you as a queen, because of the fact, if I have a princess being my daughter, I want to show her what a man really looks like. And if you do that, guess what? That wife will not have a problem with submission. Now, as we know, a lot of women are like, oh, I have a problem with submission. But the question I always ask people, who requires you to submit?
Yeah.
The man doesn't.
Yeah.
God does.
Yeah.
So you don't submit because of the man. You submit because of God.
Yeah.
So the man is not who you focus on. You focus your attention on God because God is the only one who can fulfill you.
Yeah.
That's the big problem that a lot of women have. They expect a man to fulfill them. But God said, now what you have done, you put them in my place.
Yeah.
You put them as God.
Yeah.
Now, if a man appreciate his wife or his queen, because that's pretty much, I believe all wives are their queen.
Yeah.
Me being the king, guess what that actually means? I'm going to treat her as such.
Yeah.
She works, by her having my last name, she carries my crown. She has that crown. So guess what? She needs to always look good, smell good, but most importantly, because she's my queen, tastes good as well.
Yeah.
But look what it does. It put a smile on your face.
Yeah.
It's very disheartening when your wife walk around with a frown on her face. She needs to stand proud and say, that's my husband, and say it with a smile. But too many women, they are saying it, that's my husband with a frown on their face. And that's disappointing.
And it's amazing to me how many women, especially in our generation, who don't know how to get in the kitchen and cook a good meal.
So true.
Who don't know how to make a good sandwich for their men. Like, it's crazy. And I just feel like, you know, our power is in the art of being submissive.
But I want to address that question. And this is the thing I really believe. I think you should make it fun.
Yeah.
Like growing up, my dad did most of the cooking. I mean, my mom can cook, but my dad most of the cooking. If you're someone who doesn't know how to cook, and I do because I enjoy cooking.
Yeah.
So guess what? You get in the kitchen together, and guess what?
You learn.
You